So a lot of people have been asking me to talk about this recent situation with Apple, specifically regarding the iPhone, and this idea with software updates come slowdowns to previous models. I became aware of this just like you did. I have to admit, when I was reading it and I was looking at the different screenshots of the Geekbench scores and so on, I have to be honest, I wasn't surprised. Hey man, new phone just came out. Why is mine slowing down? Is Apple trying to tell me something? This is something that people have talked about for a very long time. Those of you that aren't familiar with the backstory, here's how it breaks down. Apple recently put out some new software. A user, I believe on Reddit, noticed that their device was substantially slower than it had been previously with one of these recent software updates. He ran some numbers, did some comparisons, and figured out that yes, there was a performance decrease in his previous generation iPhone with the new software installed. Turns out he wasn't alone. People were basically wondering if this was something that Apple was doing intentionally or if it was more of a niche scenario. Now you can see in front of me here, I've got an iPhone 6S and I've also got the latest iPhone 10. Now, of course, Apple would love for you to go out and buy this new one as soon as it comes out. What are you doing sitting on that old one there? Come on, pull out your wallet. We'll take a few of those pennies. That's how all businesses run. They want to compel you to upgrade to the next generation and to do so frequently. The real question now, was there or is there something nefarious going on? Create a scenario where your phone is not performing the way that it used to so that you have to go out then and feel forced to do an upgrade. Apple responded. They came out and said, yes, this is happening, and here's why. The thinking here is that battery life over time is going to get worse, and one of the ways that you can mitigate some of that decreased capacity is to lower the performance of the device. So Apple has essentially made this move in favor of battery life over performance. Now I can kind of see where they're coming from. For users who are holding on to older devices, it's possible that battery life is more important to them, especially when you consider the performance enthusiasts are the ones who are more likely to upgrade to a new device to begin with. And the people who are holding on to or recycling old ones might not be such power users. We could have a huge discussion about which is more important, performance or battery life. It's obvious based on Apple's statement that they've made their move. Now, I think a lot of people who hit me up on Twitter expected me to come in here, make this video, and just go after Apple.
Let's try that again. Ho, ho, ho.
I kind of get what they're doing. Like, I kind of understand why you might prioritize battery life. The real problem for me doesn't have to do with that decision. It has to do with how Apple went about it by not making people aware in advance or possibly even giving them the option. Maybe you're on this phone right here, the 6S, and maybe your battery is substantially depleted from the original capacity. When you get that new software update, what about a little checkbox? Performance over battery life. Or maybe you want battery life over performance. See, the problem without presenting that option is it allows people on the internet to go down all sorts of rabbit holes with the conspiracy theories and so on. In fact, it's so far down that path now that there are 2 separate class action lawsuits that have been filed against Apple for what some consider to be a shady business practice. Now, at this point, I do think it's worth noting that Apple, it's that brand that's under the microscope in a way other brands aren't, at least not to the same extent. People will really look into it and try to discover these small little tweaks and unusual behaviors because a lot of these stories, they have legs. You know, people want to know, people want to report on it. So it's a possibility that these types of practices are in place with other manufacturers as well, and it just hasn't been discovered yet. Anyway, in my opinion, this is something that's become a big deal that really didn't have to. The opportunity existed for the user to make that selection. You know, you probably still would have a lot of people picking battery life anyways. And one of the side effects of Apple's decision here, battery replacement businesses are skyrocketing in terms of activity because everyone's thinking, oh, I can get better performance out of my iPhone 6S just by replacing the battery. Perfect. So I want to send the question to you guys. If you have an older generation iPhone, would you be more likely to select battery life over performance or performance over battery life? We can use the comment section down below to determine which is more important to users. Do you trust Apple? Do you trust any of these companies? At the end of the day, everyone's trying to make a buck, and as a consumer, that should always be front of mind for you. You can make the decision. Options are good. This episode of Unbox Therapy has been brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. The new deal, $5. It gives you this cool trial kit so you can try out the various products that they have. If you haven't heard of Dollar Shave Club, these are the guys. They send razors to your house so you're not stuck at the supermarket with the whole, you go into the cabinet, $30 or whatever they're charging you for those things. No, this is $5 for this kit, and it's more than just a razor. I'll show you what I'm talking about. The Bleep Shower and Shave trial kit with products that you won't be able to live without. Okay, very nice. You get to try out the One Wipe Charlies. I was just telling Jack about these. Aloe vera, chamomile. I'm gonna do Jack a favor, and these can be his One Wipe Charlies. Peppermint scent? Are you kidding me? Step your game up, kids. Also, lavender body cleanser, trial size, that comes in the kit. A little bit of shave butter. Don't forget, you got the main stuff here, the good stuff. The fresh, the sharp blade. There's a bunch of them in there, and you also get the handle to go with it. That's a premium handle in a store. You're paying a lot more for this. You're wasting not just money, but your time too. Head over to dollarshaveclub.com/unboxtherapy. That link's gonna be in the description as well. Use that link so they know where you came from. It's one of my favorite sponsors here on Unbox Therapy. It helps you look good, and it helps me pay the bills. You didn't expect that. It just came out. I didn't.